A lot of reviews for The Nightmare Before Christmas are very good and the ratings for it are positive, but once in a while I see one that only focuses on the negative, and with this video I wanted to prove why The Nightmare Before Christmas is a great film. One thing that I just want to mention is that this film aged insanely well. It came out almost 30 years ago and it is still considered a classic and it is still receiving great reviews. Now, I know what you're thinking. Lots of films that came out decades ago are still very popular today, such as films like Back to the Future, Mary Poppins, or a film that came out the same year as Nightmare Before Christmas, Jurassic Park. But the thing that all of those films have in common is that they all had a recognizable cast and director. The Nightmare Before Christmas cast, on the other hand, included not very well-known people like Ken Page, Chris Sarandon, and Randy Crenshaw. And its director is actually Henry Selick, who is not well known at all at the time, and making his directorial debut with this film. This film is technically called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, but Tim Burton couldn't direct it because he was too busy with Batman Returns, so he handed the job to his old Disney animation colleague Henry Selick, who made his directorial debut here. Tim Burton's name goes above the title for being the producer, writing the story, and coming up with the look and the characters. So the fact that this film is still very popular today, even when it has not very well-known people, is just amazing. This film is so popular today that they made a sequel in video game form called The Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge. Disneyland changes their Haunted Mansion ride to be themed The Nightmare Before Christmas. The character Jack Skellington has been resurfaced in Henry Selick's later films such as James and the Giant Peach and Coraline, and to this day, clothes, mugs, board games, and other merchandise for it is being made. But the one thing that sticks out in this film more than any other aspect of this film is its remarkable animation, which is claymation or stop motion. Stop motion is incredibly difficult to do, but somehow they managed to create their own style that's both creepy and beautiful. The most difficult shot to make was when Jack discovers the part of the forest with pathways leading to other holiday worlds, and he looks at the door leading to Christmas Town. A close-up of its shiny knob reflects Jack as well as the trees behind him as he reaches out to open it. Getting the reflection perfect took a lot of time, effort, and attention. This film is also one of the first in its kind to be completely made of clay, which would be very difficult to do when you have to match all of the dialogue and vocals with the clay's movement and everything. The film had 24 frames to a second, meaning they had to position the characters 24 times for each second of the completed film. 1 minute of the movie required an entire week of filming, and therefore the movie took over 3 years to complete. But, you can't rush perfection, so I think they did a really good job. They had to do that for 1 hour and 16 minutes of film, which is just mind-blowing that they had the determination to put all of that work into this film. Some kids nowadays know who these characters are even when they haven't seen the actual film, which just shows how good Disney was about advertising this film as well as its characters. The most recognizable characters in this film are obviously Jack Skellington, Sally, and Oogie Boogie, and they are all great characters, but there are lots of other characters that I don't think get the credit they deserve. For example, characters like Dr. Finkelstein, the Mayor, Lock, Shock, and Barrel are all great characters that I think should be talked about more. Not only them, but all of the characters in this film are lovable, distinct, relatable, and all have amazing voice acting performances. For the dialogue, Chris Sarandon played Jack Skellington, but for the singing, the composer for the film, Danny Elfman, played him. Not only did Danny Elfman give an amazing performance singing the songs, but his music composition gives you chills in a good way. The soundtrack for this film is just an 11 out of 10 from a composer that writes music that is always an 11 out of 10. This film doesn't copy whatever is popular at the time, but unlike most movies made these days, they took risks with this film, especially the idea of blending two incredibly different holidays. The mix of the characteristics of Halloween and the characteristics of Christmas is just genius and something we have never seen before. Having a character based on Halloween wanting to become the new Santa is something that no other person can do better than Tim Burton. But here's the big question. Is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas or Halloween movie? To me, it's a Halloween movie. Yeah, there are Christmas elements, and a large fragment of the film is devoted to Jack Skellington trying to figure out the meaning of Christmas, but the protagonist's name is also literally Jack Skellington, and the opening song is called This Is Halloween. I get if you think it's a Christmas movie because it is sort of a Halloween movie about Christmas, so technically it's both. I just like to watch it around Halloween. Even composer Danny Elfman confirms it is, in fact, a Halloween movie. While it may not be a great film to you, I think The Nightmare Before Christmas is a great film. You may not agree with me, and I know that it is not a perfect film, but I hope that I've proven my point on why I think The Nightmare Before Christmas is a great film.